Alright, hey guys, what's up? So, doing something a little different today. I got my phone recording, and I got this camera here recording. If I can get my camera to work and line it all up, guys, I'll have the camera over this little circle here. So, I guess you'll see when it's all done which way I did it. It's easier to do it the way over here, but then I'm just a little tiny circle the whole time. I'm not good at editing. I hadn't got that far in my career yet. I'm going to try to make this my career anyway. So, guys, what we're going to check out is Officer Tatum. He has made it. He really has made it. I seen him talk to Tom Homan. I seen him talk to Tyrus from, Gutfield and wrestling. So, he made it up there. And I'm proud, man. That's cool as shit. Damn. He went from, he used to be a police officer, and then he started doing YouTube. And before you know it, over the past 4 years, I sat here and watched it. Now he's actually talking to the president, he's talking to the big dogs. So that's great. I like it. Anyhow, this right here is Caroline Leavitt exposes media lies inside the Trump White House. The full interview. Let's get into it.
Have opened up the White House and the press operation to new media voices. It's been incredibly successful.
And please, guys, if you would you please like, comment, and let me know what you want me to watch. But yeah, help me get to 50 subscribers, guys. I want to make it in this. I want to get there. So I'll set my goals small and just make it to 50, then make it to 100, and then we'll go from there. And eventually, it'll be 1,000 one day.
Successful. I hope we'll get you in there.
I know. We good. Y'all better get it right.
And the latest hoax is Maryland Man, because it's another hoax that was manufactured by the left, and they framed this individual, as you mentioned, as to be Father of the Year, living a peaceful life in Maryland. Anything but that.
You may not be able to tell it specifically, but if you can, who's the hardest organization to work with?
I'm gonna turn it up some, guys.
The youngest press secretary in United States history, Caroline Leavitt.
Oh, really?
You may not remember this, but when you were running for office, you inspired me so much because you called people who...
Guys, I'm truly sorry. I don't know why my dog is breathing like that right now. She always snores. There's no way to stop her. They stay inside. They'll go out for like 10 minutes and come back in. And I really want to do this YouTube. I might be trying to make a different room up for this so I can separate from them. Because she is just so loud, and now she's just laying on her back here. That's her right there. Anyhow, guys, I'm sorry about that.
You knew would be interested in your campaign or could help your constituency. You called, and I'm one of the people that you called. And I remember talking to you on the phone. I said, one day she's gonna be something great. I thought you were gonna win that, but then now to see you being the press secretary is like par for what I thought for you, because you were so sweet and nice and hardworking, and you deserve all the success that you're getting.
Thanks, Brandon. That's very kind of you to say. And I'm glad I didn't win that race, because you know what? God had a different plan, and it worked out. And I'm so blessed to be in this position. And it's just been a crazy ride since that campaign where we first became socialized with one another. But we're having a lot of fun here at the White House, and we're doing a lot of good work. And the president is a man on a mission to save this country. And it's fun to be a part of.
I love that. I can feel that. You guys are doing a lot of...
Dude, I even feel it. And I'm not even... Nobody knows who I am or nothing, but I'm just saying that's the point. Just regular Americans trying to make it in this country and hope they have a future. Because it was starting to look like no matter what you did, the prices were going up, the pay wages were going down, everything was just looking bad. And now it is finally turning around to where there is a sunlight coming through, and it's going to get there. We're getting there. I'm telling you, Trump knows what he's doing, dog.
Out of new innovative things, like incorporating podcasters and alternative media, how have you guys implemented that as a strategy, and what do you expect to come from just making it more dynamic and getting the message out to a wider range of people?
Sure. Well, this all begins with the president himself. He owned the new media, non-traditional media lane on the campaign. And it's one of the many reasons he won the election, because he had a willingness to sit down.
The main reason he won is that he wasn't having to lie and he was telling the truth. Because I watch the Democrats and I notice they stutter every time they talk. They cannot say anything without stuttering. And when they're stuttering and then they're saying they're thinking of what to say. It's because they're hiding what they're doing. They're not interested in making anyone better. They'll try to tell you they're going to make you feel better, but when it comes down to it, they ain't doing shit for you. They are worried about themselves. And yes, there is Republicans like that too, and they need to get the fuck out of Congress. They do.
Down with non-traditional media voices on different platforms with many times larger audiences than cable news and legacy media. And as his press secretary, I felt it would be irresponsible of me not to implement that same media strategy here at the White House, and to not speak to the millions of Americans who tune into podcasts and shows like yours. So,
see, I would like to do that. I would like to put in an application to do it, but I have, right now, last I checked, I had 31 followers. And honestly, I didn't really start pumping out videos until like 2 weeks ago. And hey, I'm shocked that I got 31 followers. I would really like to get to 1,000 because I really need the money, to be honest. Due to cutting off half my thumb and then having another surgery on my wrist where they cut it open and took bones and screws out of my wrist. And because theirs were backing out from a motorcycle wreck, the handlebars went through my wrist because a dump truck got in my lane. Put the handlebars through my wrist. They put screws and plates, and those screws and plates started coming out, and I couldn't move my wrist at all. They said if this didn't work, they're going to have to put straight plates, and I'll never move my hand again.
We have opened up the White House and the press operation to new media voices. It's been incredibly successful. We've had thousands of applications to sit in the new media seat in the briefing room. We hope we'll get you in there.
I know. We good. Y'all better get it.
I mean, you would think with all the applications they got, that they should be. I don't know how often they do them though. I was going to say if they did it every day, you could have a different person every day, and you should be able to get through 350 and 350, 700. You're looking at almost 1,000 people by the end of this term.
Right, we got to get
we'll
in there.
schedule that. I wish there were more seats. I wish the room was bigger, but we also have welcomed so many new voices to campus.
You also need to get rid of the legacy media. They're going down as is, but they need to get out, and that will open up a lot of seats. Get rid of all them idiots asking the same dumb questions.
To do these podcast rows and media rows, and making sure the cabinet is available to new media voices like yourself and is speaking to a larger audience than just tuning into, the local news at night. It's a different digital age, and I think we're truly representing that here at the White House.
Well, that, and people are so tired of hearing the false, fake narratives that they just keep pushing, because you can go outside and see what's going on for yourself. Them telling you, oh, inflation is it was in a transactional phase or some crap like that, and oh, the violence has went down. To go outside and all you see is hell breaking loose. We're tired of it, so we'd rather watch just a regular person giving us the stuff that they know that's happened.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys did that. I'm glad you guys stepped up and wasn't, following the status quo, because there is room and a necessity for the truth to get out there, because the legacy media is just screwing everybody over. I literally listen to you all the time, having to combat lies.
I'm telling you, me and Officer Tatum would click and get along great, because every time he speaks, I agree. I think there's been 1 or 2 times he said something that I didn't care for. I don't know what it was about. It was like 2 years ago. But other than that, I agree with everything he says.
Lies and lies, especially with the person that they claim is the father that was falsely deported. I mean, this guy is clearly an MS-13 gang member designated by 2 judges, and so on and so forth.
Either way, he's here illegally.
And it's crazy how they're still arguing with you about this.
Yeah.
You don't get that right.
What lessons have you learned from being a part of Kayleigh McEnany's press secretary position, or at least being an assistant?
Yeah.
How has that geared you or prepared you to do what you're doing now? Because I know it's not easy.
It's not easy when you're going up against an entire institution in the legacy media who is blinded by bias. They may not want to admit it, but they absolutely are. And I have a list of hoaxes on a whiteboard in my office, and the latest hoax is Maryland Man, because it's another hoax that was manufactured by the left in the legacy media, and they framed this individual, as you mentioned, as to be...
And they do it to try to get more people on their side, and they are upset these illegals are leaving, because they were wanting those illegals for the votes and the seats. And now even the illegals are leaning to the right side, because they left the country that they were in because they were tired of that shit, and they come here, and guess what? The same people they just left are in this country now, and they're dealing with it here. They're tired of it.
To be father of the year, living a peaceful life in Maryland, anything but that. This is an illegal immigrant, gang banger, a part of one of the most vicious gangs in the planet. MS-13 brutalizes, rapes, and kills for sport.
What kills me is no one brings up the fact he said he can't be deported back to El Salvador because there is a gang that wants to hurt him. And that gang is the 18th Street, which that gang and MS-13 have issues. So if you can't go back because of a gang, that's because you're in the gang they don't like.
I mean, these are vicious animals, and he's a member of that gang. He beat his wife, in her own words, not mine. So more than enough evidence for this individual to be deported back to his home country, and this is exactly what the American public re-elected the president to do. And it's such a disservice to the American people that we have such a dishonest legacy media in this country, but we do our best to combat it every day with the facts and the truth, and we have a president who is fully willing to suit up and...
You know how many times she's had to answer the exact same question back to back to back, and like Caitlin something, and the other ones, they ask the same question. It's like, dude, you've asked it for 3 weeks now. Stop asking the same bullshit question. We don't care about that illegal. He can get the fuck out. His ancestors didn't die for this country.
And go to battle with the media every day, and it makes it easier when you have truth on your side and you have facts, and especially in this case there are more than enough facts to prove this is a man who should have been deported, and we maintain that position.
Yeah, I love that. And you know, a lot of people probably would wonder, how do you prepare for a press briefing?
Yeah.
You know, because it's a lot of facts going out there. There's a lot of disinformation that they're shooting at you and trying to trip you up.
Yeah.
You know, how do you prepare, other than being incredibly
Tell
brilliant?
the truth. That's all she
For
does,
the
tell the
average
truth.
person, is there like, do you
No.
spend
Truth.
all night looking over facts and different things like that?
Yeah.
Are you quizzing yourself? How do you prepare for those
There's a
meetings?
lot of preparation, no doubt, because we have a president who makes so much news. I mean, every day there's news stories out of the administration
I'm serious.
because we're doing so much. So it's certainly a lot to keep up with. But I have a great team who helps me prepare and brings news stories to my office, to my desk each morning before briefing. And I just read. There's no shortcut. You have to read the news. And I'm also sometimes feeling like I'm an internal investigative reporter here, because I see things in the press and then I go figure it out amongst my colleagues in the building about whether it's fact or truth or whether it's a lie. A lot of it I know firsthand because I'm in these meetings and I know what's going on. And but I rely on the policy experts in the building as well. There's so many smart people here who are doing great work on behalf of the president, and it's my job to call them up and say, what are the facts here? What is the media getting wrong, and how can we correct this? So that's a large part of what I do every day.
Awesome.
And then the media sits there and chops it up and tries to cut off her answers and try to make it sound like it's worded a different way. And then you see the actual video and it's nothing like whatever they put out there. CNN, MSNBC, y'all have destroyed your reputation. The only people that watch y'all is stupid liberals that haven't switched sides yet.
Awesome, and this may be more of a personal question. It seems like this administration is doing a lot to support women, and especially young women, and also young mothers.
Yeah.
And so what is it like having to do this rigorous job?
I thought he
and
hated
also
women.
be a mom. I mean, your baby is really young,
Yeah,
I think.
9 months.
9 months.
Yeah.
So what is that balance like for you?
It's a blessing and it's a challenge all at once. Every day is challenging because you want to do your best at your job and be the best parent and best mother that I can be. it's about prioritization of my time. But certainly working for a president who's fully supportive of working moms and dads here at the White House, and a chief of staff in Susie Wiles, who has been incredibly accommodating and welcoming of the family environment in the West Wing. We had the Easter egg roll on Monday, and there was a photo line for staff before the event. And the staff line was so long with all of President Trump's senior staff, and there were so many kids running around. I was playing I Spy with many of my colleagues' kids at the table to keep them entertained as we were waiting for the presidents in the pictures. So, it's a family-friendly White House, and you don't often see that across administrations. But
you don't hardly see it at all in this country, because that's one thing I talked to my mom about. The family structure in this country, the government has tore it apart by telling women, as long as you live by yourself, they'll send you a check and this and that. So men are being kicked out. Then they're trying to push women can do anything a man can do. No, you can't. If your house is on fire and you're trapped in the house, do you want a 5'10", 6 foot, 250-pound guy kicking that damn door down? Or do you want a 120-pound woman attempting for 10 minutes to try to get the door down? What do you want? Now, women can do things men cannot do. But you put a man with a woman, the child will have everything it could ever fucking need. Because a lot of kids nowadays are growing up off of emotions, because I don't know, it's not factual, but I say probably 95% of kids live with their mom, because the father very rarely ever gets custody. I couldn't, like, my ex-wife, she would tell me I can have my kids, and then she'd change her mind, do this, that, the third. I paid child support for 21 years. Damn. But I didn't get to see my kids, and then now my son, went and got him a nice long criminal record also. But fathers need to be in the house, and the government has truly destroyed that.
It feels good to be part of something. We're all in it together. We all understand the challenges we face as young parents raising children while, working these very demanding jobs. But of course, knowing this job is much bigger than myself or even my family. This is for the country, working on behalf of a president who's truly making monumental change.
I love that. That is such a great response, because it's so truthful and authentic. And I love that Donald Trump does that. And I love that.
And that's what I'm saying. When you're telling the truth, you don't have to stutter. You don't go, because you're not having to think of what you're saying. It's already there because it's truthful.
You are a hard-working person, and I say this even at the beginning. I knew that. I was like, this girl is a freaking rock star. She really believes in what she's doing.
Thank you.
And I love that it's showing in the work that you're doing. Also, I'll say, who's the hardest media organization to deal with? Because I know that everybody's shooting questions at you,
CNN.
And then you go and listen to what they're reporting on in the news, or you see it in the news. You may not be able to tell it specifically, but if you can, who's the hardest organization to work with?
Annoying.
NBC and CNN are always at the top of the list. I answer questions honestly, and that's just the truth. NBC. And I let them know that, a lot of the television journalists who work these cable networks, sometimes it's like they're performing, like they're an act.
Like, they think the seats in the media room is theirs, and they need to be kicked out. They need to say, oh, we're full, you can't be here today. Don't you see all the people filling up the seats? Why do they get a seat? Are they paying the government, or is the government paying them?
Actor. They don't actually care about the answer to your question. They just want that viral clip in moment. And I've addressed that with many of them. And it's kind of part of the game that they play in the briefing room. But there are a lot of reporters here who, I will say, do actually care about what we have to say and getting the administration side of things and putting that into their stories. And we're not asking for positive coverage, we're asking for fair coverage, and to give our office enough time to respond and to get the...
Like, he can't come into office and all the prices just drop down low. He's having to correct the 4 years, not including the 40 years before that, but Donald Trump is having to correct a lot of fucked up shit. Joe Biden went and turned around every single thing except for the tariffs on China, but then he didn't enforce them. But it's going to hurt for just a little bit, and it's actually already turning back around. I mean, the stock market had been up, but then I heard it drop. I'm not into stocks. I'm not rich like that. I don't have no portfolio, none of that. One day, maybe. But anyhow, the media, they be talking about some eggs. It's like, yeah, before Joe Biden left, he had 1 million chickens killed. He killed them off because of bird flu, supposedly. Wasn't even sure. But he did that on purpose to fuck over Trump. And honestly, I think the coronavirus thing was set up to come out when it did, to intentionally have the end of Trump's term be messed up. So hopefully Joe Biden would win. And then Joe Biden did win, and then he got us in a bunch of shit. But like Mr. Obama, a lot of people's favorite president that destroyed this country, like Obama said, let Joe Biden do anything and he will find a way to fuck it up. And guess what, guys? The Democratic Party is now completely fucked up. Love it. Love it.
Get the facts and the truth from our side into the story. And there's a lot of reporters who do that on a daily basis, but there's a lot of them who don't. And unfortunately are just here to make a name for themselves. But that's okay. We deal with them every day anyway.
That's awesome. Okay, last question, because I know you're very busy. What is, in the first 100 days of Donald Trump's administration, obviously you've been a part of that, what is one of the biggest things that you feel like you've been able to accomplish from your position, being the press secretary?
Oh man, well, there's so much more to accomplish and there's so much more to do. But I do think the whole team, the whole communication staff, we are very proud of the changes we've made in the briefing room, which we discussed, and just opening the space up to new media. We've now taken over the reconstruction of the press pool. So who is that small group that gets to go into the Oval Office every day, and who gets to go on Air Force One to ask the president questions? We're determining those journalists based on the news of the day, what the president is doing, the policy decisions are being made, so that truly accurate information can be relayed to the American public. And we're giving these opportunities now to journalists who would have never had them before if the White House Correspondents Association was still running things around here. So it's a better service, I think, for the American public. And the president remains the most transparent president ever. I mean, even this morning, he was walking around on the North Lawn checking things out. He wants to put some big, beautiful flagpoles out. And he took questions. He did a little impromptu press conference at 10 in the morning. And the press love it. They won't admit it on air, but they were all very happy this morning because they have access. There's nothing to hide here. We are fully transparent and accessible and provide, as much real-time information as we can.
And legacy media and all them, they truly hate that. They hate it because they try to talk about Doge and how do we know he's canceling this and this? Because he got it posted. Yeah, but how do we know it really happened? Well, how do you know the U.S. aid, one of them things, was actually going to that country for that reason? How do you know? And what about how many people work in Congress and all the people that work throughout the government? One, we got the government as a company is the largest one in the entire world. But they try to talk about people's social security numbers getting out and blah, blah, blah. Well, who was getting to see that before? Somebody was seeing it, because I tell you, if I owe $200 to IRS, they will hound your ass to get it back. Even though you paid taxes the entire time you worked, then they give you money back, and then right at the cutoff limit of 5 or 7 years, whatever it is, then they start sending a letter saying, oh, you owe us for this. It's like, no, I don't. You already gave me money. What? I'm telling you, man. The government has been robbing us, and I hope a lot of these liberals, they open their eyes and see it. Now, do I like it being all Republican? Yes, but that's because right now everyone in the middle, or not middle, basically the left, they're lying. But once good ideas start coming up and they're actually going to enforce them, we need to have two sides so you can vote on what you want. But right now, the left is going with 10% of, it's a 90-10 situation, and they're on the 10 side, or they're making up just random bullcrap that does absolutely nothing for the American people. And then that's making it where the Republican Party will take over for the next 40 years. But you want to be able to vote either way. But if it's everybody's Republican, then it's almost like, I guess you get to vote the person in, but there ain't no two parties. The other party's basically getting closed out. I'm going to shut up so we can get to the end of this.
We can.
Okay, awesome. One last question. I said the other one's the last
That's
question.
okay.
I was about to
This is
say,
the
didn't he
last
just say
question.
that?
What is you've been working with Trump, around Trump for a very long time. I think all the way since 2016, being a part of 2018. So what is your favorite thing about Trump? What's the most admirable thing that you have experienced when working with Trump, even being around him?
Yeah, he is such a fun person to be around.
I was going to say, he seems like he'd be
He
fun.
has an incredible sense of humor. He's truly one of the funniest people I've ever met. Like, he cracks me up every day. And he's a problem solver. When you bring a problem to him or when he sees a problem, he wants to address it. Even if it's something that really isn't part of his slogan or the administration's goals.
But he
he
wants
sees a
to get it
problem in
taken
the
care
world,
of.
he directs us as his staff to go figure it out. If it's something as small as cleaning up a single home...
He's an actual commander-in-chief. So even if he don't directly deal with the problem, he makes sure his people take care of it, and he commands them to do so. Instead of this last administration where the job that she's at right now, it was the first black lesbian dyke, blase, blah. Then we got a man dressed as a woman in the military. Then we got another man dressed as a woman in the nuclear stuff, stealing luggage at airports. It was all garbage. And the thing is, I heard Biden wasn't even at the actual White House desk. They had a studio. Just a camera with studios and the screen. Like, it wasn't the actual Oval Office or the White House. It was a fake setup. That's how he was on the beach from Thursday through Sunday every week. So that means he supposedly worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He ain't do shit. Here we go. I don't know what just happened.
homeless encampment here in D.C. that somebody, paid attention to or brought to his attention, or solving these wars that he's currently trying to negotiate our way out of. The president is a problem solver, and it's really inspiring to see him just give so much.
I think we need to go ahead and pull out of Ukraine. Just get out of there. Because he don't want to pay us back any of the money. He wants to keep using our technology and stuff to keep fighting the Russians that have millions and millions of more people than he does. If he ain't going to sign that minerals deal, we need to pull out. Let Russia take over Ukraine. Tell him if you had your chance, Mr. President, dictator, whatever you are, and you fucked up. You truly fucked up. So here, it's all you, baby.
So much time and attention to the smallest of problems and the largest of global problems every day. It's quite fascinating to watch him in action.
Miss Leavitt, thank you so much for coming on and joining us. I know you're super busy.
Thank you.
I know you got a lot of stuff to do, and hopefully I'll be able to interview and talk to you again. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for coming to the White House.
Yes, thank you.
All right, guys, that right there's the end of that. Sorry I paused a couple of times. I just needed to say what I thought was my reaction. I think they're great people. Officer Tatum, he's getting it big now, guys. I hope you're all doing great. Please be my next subscriber. I would totally enjoy it. Let's get my subscribers up, and let's go, baby.